Hi, Kathy Jackson again, and I wanted to talk about my experience with narcissism. So, I think that a lot of people don't fully appreciate, unless they've experienced narcissism, the magnitude of the damage that can be done. Now, my experience is that about 2.5 years ago, my daughter came over to the house, which she never comes to my house, but anyways, it's a side point. She came over to my house, phone in hand, wanting me to watch a video about how I'm a narcissist. Of course, this is after some schooling, becoming a psychotherapist herself, and so she proceeds to diagnose me as a narcissist. I was like most people, I was like, narcissist, huh? That means a super selfish person, I guess. So I didn't react, I didn't watch the video, I just said, no, this isn't me, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so this is after years and years and years of her, repetitive gaslighting, manipulating, pulling away, cutting me off, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, so I started to do the research, and I looked into what narcissism is. Now, narcissism is like anything else. There's a spectrum, right? So anywhere from the overt, which is very blatant in your face, people can see it readily, to the covert. And then there's different types of covert too. There's the vulnerable, I forget the different ones, but anyways. So as I'm doing the research, I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this sounds like her. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. So as I'm learning more and more about it, it began to add up, all of the interactions that we've had over the years when I knew she was manipulative, but it didn't fully register and land until I was reading about narcissism and what they actually do, and she had all of the signposts. But she's the vulnerable covert narcissist. So they are very sneaky and insidious. And so they get people to side with them by playing the victim. And she did that very well. I know she did. And she would always tell me, she says, yeah, so-and-so and all my friends and everybody agrees with me that you are this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, she comes with this projection every so often. So this time, after 20 years of this, I finally realized what has been happening all this time. It just started to add up. Anyways, I began to recognize, because as a spiritual teacher, guide, and healer, I knew that whatever is reflected in my outer world is something that I need to look at internally, whatever it is. So I started recognizing more and more of how I was being codependent and how I was giving my power away to her, And so I took on my personal responsibility to do the healing work, as I've done for a long time, probably over 15 years. So as I'm doing my healing work for codependency, it just occurs to me that I have a lot of wisdom to share about this whole dynamic. And so I wrote a book called Breaking Free, and it outlines why we develop this pattern of codependency and what it served and how it came about, and then what you can do about it to shift your interaction with people. But anyways, so as I'm finding all this out, I'm beginning to realize that I need to distance myself. Like, she pushed me away, but I had to distance myself. So, and there's there's so many different layers to this and so many different perspectives, and I see them all. I've experienced them all. I don't think there's anything new that anybody could tell me about this. And from a deeply spiritual aspect, I recognize all of the things that happen, and the effect of entity attachments. So entities can attach to a person if they're holding lower vibrational energies, such as hatred, jealousy, envy, resentment, revenge, all of the negative stuff. Entities love to feed off of all of that. So, I know she had attachments, and so it was spiritually I had to cut cords. That's a whole nother subject. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the narcissism and how it shows up. And the reason it took me so long, I recognized some of it. But I didn't really see the depth of what it was. And the reason I talk about it so much is because it really affects your self-concept, your confidence. It affects your ability to see yourself clearly. It affects your finances. It affects your love life. It affects everything. So it's highly important to recognize these dynamics and to remove yourself from them, because you can't heal in a toxic environment. It's just impossible, because there's too much noise. And so when they're projecting all these things at you, it keeps you, confused, out of sorts, not clear. And so I had to recognize that was what required, is I needed to step out of that. And now, was that easy? Absolutely not. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, because I lost my granddaughters in the process, and I was very close to them. I have 3 of them. I was very close to them, and I miss them immensely. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't predict. But it hurt me to the deepest core to recognize and have to do this. And then my sister was involved also. So, oh my goodness, it's a lot. It's a lot. And as a spiritual being and a teacher and a healer, I know that all of this is coming to the surface to be seen, to be recognized, to be transmuted and healed. And I'm here to lead the way with that. There's others that are too. But it's devastating. The narcissism is devastating. The parental estrangement is devastating. There's parents out here that are suffering. They don't know why. They don't understand they don't understand why their kids are doing this and that. And it's prolific, and it's hugely heartbreaking. Some parents are so heartbroken that they actually end their lives. So, I was surprised to learn that it was so prevalent. Somebody told me a statistic that 1 in 4 families are dealing with this parental estrangement thing. Anyways, it's all interconnected. I believe that everything in this reality that is of the darkness needs to come to the light, needs to come to the surface. We cannot move forward into the new world and create a new reality of higher vibration with a bunch of darkness tagging along. then we'll just recreate the same crap, you know? So all of the darkness has to come to light, and we have to see it, we have to recognize it, we have to feel it, we have to hear it, we have to understand it, we have to transmute it into light. So how do we do that? First thing is our consciousness. We have to become aware of it, right? And then we have to look at ourselves. So if we are in a narcissistic relationship with anybody, we're codependent. We just are. We're codependent. And so it behooves us to do our inner child healing work, because narcissists, this is how we unravel it. Narcissists cannot exist without codependence. They cannot exist with someone to feed off of. They cannot exist with someone that is disempowered. So, how do we undo it? We start healing our codependency. I invite you to check out my book. I think it's phenomenal, and it's very useful in coming to an understanding of what codependency is, what it costs you, and how we can heal it. Feel free to reach out to me. Leave any questions or comments that are of a positive nature. And yeah, I look forward to sharing more as to how I've overcome a lot of toxic situations. All right, I think that's it for now. And again, I'm Kathy Jackson. You'll find my information in the comments below, and I will look forward to speaking with you again. Have a great day.